which makes sense.
Recording in progress.
Hey, how are you?
I don't think,
That's okay. I know. I see you are in Zoom right now.
Recording in progress.
Test, test, test. Okay.
Father John, look up. Oh, it's all over.
Yeah, well, it's good. We're about to get started. One thing I will request as the chair, if you don't mind, when you acknowledge one of the board members to speak, if you would reference their name, it's easier for our transcription. This.
Got it.
Good to go.
So we're ready to begin?
Yes.
All right, at this time, I'd like to call this Richland County Board of Zoning Appeals meeting to order. We'll start with the public notice announcement. In accordance with the Freedom of Information Act, a copy of the agenda was sent to radio and television stations, newspapers, persons requesting notification, and posted on the bulletin board located in the county administration office. At this time, I will present the rules of order. The Board of Zoning Appeals is a quasi-court. It will take evidence that's presented and it will hopefully render a decision today for each case. The way that the mechanics of this will work is that the applicant will be allotted up to 15 minutes to present their case. Anyone that is signed up in opposition will be granted up to 3 minutes each to present their opposition. And then the applicant, if necessary, will be allotted up to 5 minutes of rebuttal. The board can extend those times at its discretion as needed. The board may have questions for the applicant and also potentially for anyone signed up to speak. The agenda is ordered as the board requires to conduct business. Usually the cases are ordered based on the filing date. Some cases may take longer than other cases depending on the complexity of the case, the issues at hand, numbers of witnesses, etc. When you are called to testify, please address your remarks to the board. No exchanges between the speaker and the audience. Please, no audience demonstrations or testimony other than from the podium. You are under oath and are being recorded, so please don't promise to do something that you're not prepared to do. Don't fail to say something that's material to what you do intend to do, and please speak into the microphone. In terms of evidence presented, this is not as formal as a court. We will accept documents that you've submitted, including any kind of last-minute submissions that you may bring today, or those items you submit, and those items you submit will be weighed appropriately. Cases can either be approved, denied, or they could also be granted a conditional decision based on meeting certain conditions. The decisions are final when the minutes are approved, which is typically 1 month from the meeting or at the next scheduled meeting. If you take any action before the decision is final, you proceed at your own risk. Any person who may have a substantial interest in the decision rendered by the board today may request a reconsideration of this decision prior to the approval of the minutes. This reconsideration request must be based on a specific error made by the board. And if you have an issue, you may obtain more information about this process from Mr. Price, the zoning administrator. Once the request for reconsideration has been exhausted, any person with a substantial interest in a decision of the board may appeal to the circuit court, and those appeals must be filed within 30 days after the decision of the board has been mailed, and that does not occur until after the minutes have been approved. If you are unhappy with the board's decisions today, please follow the reconsideration and the appeal process. Please don't voice your displeasure if you're frustrated with the board. A few housekeeping items: please silence or turn off any cell phones or pagers. Please make sure that your name is on the sign-in sheet for each case. If you need to come and go, please do so quietly as needed. The board may have occasion to enter an executive session or recess. Anyone that's planning to provide testimony today, please rise to be sworn in. Hey, please raise your right hand, sir. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give today to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. With that said and done, I'd ask if there are any additions or deletions to the minutes.
Yes, sir. Should be an addition to the agenda. I believe that y'all have all received the minutes from the August 9th meeting. So we need to add that there, add a place for it for that approval if you so desire.
So I'm sitting here at the pleasure of the board. Do we want to board meeting? And I only ask because we just got the minutes. And so I don't know if there's ample opportunity for us to have reviewed them and to really be able to go through them and pleasure of the board.
Mr. Chair. Yeah, so you remember everything has to be in open. Yeah, if you, at this point, if you feel that you need more time to review the minutes, this can be just deferred until the October meeting.
Okay, so there was just a suggestion of the addition of the approval of the minutes to this agenda. It has not been approved. Do we need to even take a vote of adding them on, or is it appropriate for us just to hold off on them until the next meeting?
You need to vote.
All right, so the request of the zoning administrator was to add the minutes to the agenda. And so we need to take a vote on if we will make the revision of the minutes by adding those, we'll make the a revision of the agenda by adding the minutes to it. And so we are ready for the vote.
Need a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move a motion that we vote to delay the adding of the minutes into the October meeting.
Second.
It has been moved and properly seconded that we delay the adding of the minutes until the next Board of Zoning meeting. So now we will be prepared for a vote.
All right, those in favor of the motion not to add the August 9th, 2023 minutes to this agenda. Those in favor, Nelson, Lawsonheiser, Copeland Cahoon, Fulmer, Hendricks,
Okay.
Reese.
Okay.
All right, that motion passes.
Motion passes, so the agenda, we need to take a motion to approve the agenda as outlined.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adopt the agenda as outlined for today's meeting.
I second, Mr. Chair.
It's been moved and properly seconded that we adopt the agenda as outlined. We're ready for the vote.
Those in favor of the motion to adopt the agenda as presented, Fulmer,
Yes.
Copeland Cahoon,
Yes.
Lawsonheiser,
Yes.
Nelson, Hendricks,
Yay.
Reese.
Yay.
Motion passes.
So that brings us to item number 5, which is rules of order. And we have Jason McLeese, chairman.
I apologize. That should be Robert T. Reese. Did not make that change, so I apologize for that.
And the rules of order is what we have already outlined. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, so we will go to the public hearing. And at this time, we will ask the zoning administrator, Mr. Price, to lead us here.
All right, so right now we'll go to item 7, which is case SE 22-004. This case was heard in August, at your August 9th meeting, and it was deferred by the actions of the board to allow time for you to review some documentation that was presented. I believe y'all all received that. If you've had time to review those and feel comfortable going forward, we'll proceed on with this case. It was also decided that right now there would not be any public hearing on this. So right now what you have before you is for the board to make a decision on either approval or denial of this request.
And that would take a recommendation from the board. there a recommendation from the board for
Yes, Mr.
approval or
Chair.
denial for the case that we heard at the last hearing?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I would like to move a motion that we deny the case at this time.
It has been recommended that we deny, but I do not hear a second.
I would like to second that motion.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, I think, the findings for that motion will need to be, outlined.
Do we need to, based on what you just said, do we need to outline and specify it in the motion of why we're denying? Yes, sir. Okay.
Why there is a recommendation for denial. So if there is a recommendation for a denial, it needs to be outlined in the motion.
Mr. Chair, the recommendation to deny this case at this time under the criteria of special exception would be under the standard in this chapter the board had to consider under the bullets 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the denial was coming from number 3, the potential impact of noise, lights, fumes, or obstruction of airflow and adjoining property, and also adverse impact on the proposed use of the aesthetic character of the environs to include possible need for screening from view, and the orientation of space of improvements of the building due to the safety of those surrounding the area.
And I'll second that.
So it has been moved and properly second that this petition be denied. Ready for the vote?
We have a motion for denial of case SE 22-004. That is, Ms. Peniston Blair at 2044 Hayward Brockton Road, Columbia, South Carolina. Tax map was 097000256. And again, the request is for the establishment of an orphanage on property zone roll. The motion was for denial. Those in favor? Copeland, Cahoon,
No.
Fulmer,
Yes.
Nelson, Lotzenheiser,
Yes.
Hendricks,
Yay.
Reese.
No.
All right, so that motion passes 4-2 for denial.
Also, I know that there was a request for some of the information that we received at the last meeting, that we returned some of the documents that we were giving to for review. And so I'm going to ask if it is appropriate, Gio, for us to return those items to your office so that they can be retrieved by the owner.
Yes, the copies that we have, we can give them back to the citizen that presented those to us. We have copies of it for the file.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And we are moving on to open hearing for the next case.
Our next case Next item is case SE 23-001. Anthony Todd Carnes at 2813 Paget Road in Hopkins, South Carolina. The tax map number is 22015-03-38. There's one amendment to this request. The applicant is requesting to develop property as single-family residential zero lot line consisting of 38 lots, not 40. On property zone residential single-family high density. Again, staff has reviewed this, and also for the record, the parcel size is 9.02. On page 13, we have it as a parcel size 9.28. It's actually 9.02. All right, so the parcel is currently undeveloped, and the applicant proposes to develop a 38 parcel zero lot line subdivision. The general area consists primarily of single-family detached developments. Staff has, in addition to the normal criteria that the board reviews for a special exception, there's also the provisions of section 26-152 D10 that's found within your code. Staff visited the site. Again, as stated, the applicant is proposing to develop a 38 zero lot line residential development. Staff did not observe any conditions or factors that would negatively impact the properties in the surrounding area by the establishment of this type of development. Based on that information, and also upon our review of section 26-152 D10, staff recommends approval of this request.
That concludes staff's presentation.
Yes, sir.
And so at this time, we'll have an opportunity for the applicant to present.
Yes, sir.
Sir, we ask that as you're getting to the podium to present, that you would state your full name for the record prior to giving us any information you would like for us to have.
Thank you. Yes, full name is Anthony Todd Carnes. And so, Mr. Chairman of the Board, I appreciate the time today, and I really don't have much to add to what the staff has provided there. This 9-acre parcel, smaller subdivision, 38 units. And really what we're asking for is the variance that allows us to do this with a common zero lot line as opposed to a parallel zero lot line. And the densities are the same. So I certainly wanted to come today to field any questions. I appreciate your review.
Can I ask to explain zero lot line when I'm looking at this diagram, please?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
First, let me just make sure that question, let me just acknowledge that question is coming from Mr. Fulmer.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'll
Please.
go ahead and
Yes, sir.
present. I believe I passed out some documents to you, kind of a general outline of a common and a parallel. One of them also has an atrium with it, but I think for what we have common. So basically, when as I like to explain, if you're driving on the street and you saw this, I saw this development, you might initially think, oh, there are duplexes on the property. The difference is a duplex are 2 residential units on one parcel. In this particular case, for a zero lot line common, they are attached units, but they are separated by a property line. So each unit lies on its own property line. Its own parcel. Yes, sir.
This is Blakely Copeland Cahoon. So the number of units would just be 38, or 36. How many units would it be?
38, that's the maximum. It could only go down from there.
When we're talking about a unit, we're talking about the total of the two pieces together or just the one piece on the?
We're talking about a dwelling unit, so 38 dwelling units in 19 buildings. Mhm.
Any additional questions for the board, from the board? That I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I would move that the board approve the requested exception for case number SC 23-001.
And
Who's second? All right. So we have a motion for the approval of case SC 23-001, which is for the, again, for the record, will be for a 38 lot, 0 lot line common development. Those in favor of the motion? Fulmer,
Yes.
Copeland, Cahoon,
Yes.
Lotzenheiser,
Yes.
Nelson, Hendricks,
Yay.
Reese.
A.
All right, that motion passes.
All right, with the two cases at hand completed, we are at a point in the agenda for other business. Is there any other business?
Yes, sir. You received in your, as part of your packet, it's called Part One Amendments to the South Carolina Planning Act. This was originally intended for a planning commission, but as I was reviewing it, I saw a number of cases that would apply to the Board of Zoning Appeals. And so I wanted to include that in there for your reading, and hopefully, help you as, you move forward as members of the Board of Zoning Appeals.
So this information is supplemental information to our training documents so that it can be added to our, I guess, the information that we have and knowledge that we have.
Yes, sir, it's the information that we'll pick up as a staff and we provide it, to the various boards and commissions, as we deem would be beneficial to them.
Certainly appreciate it. I think I might speak on behalf of the entire board for us to have as much information, as knowledge as we need in order to make these sessions run smoothly. So with that being said, we are at a point of adjournment. An additional new business?
Yes, sir. We wanted to confirm something from our staff attorney here.
All right, well, seeing that there is no other business for us to discuss, then it is time for us to move for adjournment. I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Moved and properly second for a motion to adjourn. Ready for the vote?
Second. All right, motion for adjournment. Those in favor, Reese,
Yay.
Hendricks, Fulmer, Copeland Cahoon, Lotzenheiser,
Yes.
Nelson. All right, you're now adjourned.